Hello everyone and welcome back guys to episode 54, round 7 of season 3 of the F1 2019 Haas Road to Glory career mode, where today we're here back for the Canadian Grand Prix and one of my favourite tracks on the Formula 1 calendar, one of the tracks as well that should suit our car quite well in the Haas Road to Glory career mode. But obviously if you guys are new around here or you missed out the last race, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. Obviously the Monaco Grand Prix can be quite a weird one. It certainly was in the Haas Road to Glory career mode. No upgrades on the car though coming into this weekend. We have still got the chassis upgrade that is going to be ready next weekend, hopefully. I think it might be France, it might be Austria, in all honesty. And then obviously no other upgrades currently on the car. Hopefully by the end of this weekend we will get some more nonetheless. But obviously if you guys are new around here and you do go on to enjoy, make sure you do get yourself subscribed. This race, safe to say, is certainly one that you don't want to miss out on. A crazy finish to this one, but obviously you need to see the build-up and everything like that. But let's jump on then. It's time for qualifying for the Canadian Grand Prix.
Hello and welcome from the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, home to the Canadian Grand Prix, for today's qualifying session. When it comes to getting lap time out of this circuit, it's traditionally been about maximising top speed. Do you simply remove as much downforce as possible, hang on in the corners and max out down the straights?
Top speed is a key factor for this circuit. Even if you can achieve the same lap time as someone running less wing than you, chances are you'll find overtaking difficult if you have too much drag.
So here we are then, ready for the Canadian Grand Prix qualifying session. We've actually been on quite a decent run of form in recent weeks in qualifying sessions in the Haas Road to Glory. 3 Q3 appearances in a row now in this season. I think we've never gone out obviously in Q1, and the Canadian Grand Prix was going to be no different at the end of the day. They're actually up in P7 at the end of Q1. But you can see a couple of drivers on the mediums, everything like that. But it was the usual culprits out in Q1, obviously the Toro Rossos, the Alfa Romeos, and Lando Norris. I'm pretty certain it has been the same every single Grand Prix this season. If I'm not mistaken, I think, yeah, every single race so far this year has been those 5 going out. Obviously, Toro Rosso and Alfa Romeo just don't have enough, and then Carlos Sainz is much quicker than his teammate Lance Stroll in this series as well. But coming through towards the end of my Q2 run there, you can see coming through the final chicane once again, they're actually dinked the wall through the final corner, but obviously a very short run up towards the line. There's going to be a 1 minute 6.9 there, and that is going to be P10 once again. That's what, I think 2 in the last 3 weeks we've managed to sneak through in 10th place overall to grab ourselves our 4th Q3 appearance of the year. That means now we've actually been in Q3 more times than we haven't in the Haas Road to Glory career mode there. So yeah, really happy with that one at the end of the day there. And let's ride on board with my fastest lap from Q3 there. And maybe, just maybe, we might be able to fight ourselves up a little bit higher, but obviously this is now where the AI go absolutely all out in the Haas Road to Glory career mode there. Through the final couple of corners, trying to give ourselves the best run on to start our flying lap there. Actually using the overtake mode to give us the best run actually down towards turn 1 there, just have a little bit more power in the high gears there. Cycle it down into 3rd gear for T1 and then all the way down into 1st to try and get the rotation through T2 there. Cycle back up as you head up towards T3 there, braking just after the 100 meter board there. Ride the curbs as best as possible and get as close to the wall on the exit as you dare. Brake just at the black box as you head in towards the next chicane, as now we head out onto this back short straightaway here with the DRS activated as soon as possible there. I'm really trying to get some good runs on the exits of the corners here. In towards the next chicane, brake just as you head under the bridge. They're actually running a little bit deep on the entrance there. Get a little bit squirrely on the exit as well. They just skim the wall as we head down the back straightaway here, breaking down in towards the hairpin, one of the more difficult braking points of the lap here, and really just trying to keep it nice and tidy there. Get good traction on the exit there. We want to try to avoid the wheel spin to get yourselves the best run as we now head down in towards the final chicane of the lap here. The deadly Wall of Champions there. Hulkenberg goes quickest on a 1 minute 6.007 there. We're not going to see a 1 minute 5 come out from the AI here as we head through the final couple of corners though. It's going to be a 1 minute 6 even 0.7 at the end of the day there. Only 7/10 of pole, but it is only P10 at the end of qualifying there. But still, I'm just happy to sneak into Q3 at the moment in these races. Just get that one extra run there. No way were we going to be able to match Valtteri Bottas and Verstappen there, up in P9 and P8 there. A couple of tenths off at the end of the day, but still, yeah, really, really happy with that. And let's jump on then. It's time for the Canadian Grand Prix.
Canada has a true love affair with Formula One. The grandstands here are always packed to capacity. It's a country that has given us the likes of Gilles and Jacques Villeneuve, the thrilling Grand Prix of '79, of '98 and of course 2011. They love their motorsport in Montreal and we absolutely love coming here. It's a tricky circuit to tackle in wet conditions, with top speed still of critical importance down the long back straight. There are 2.7 miles and 14 corners overall on a circuit that in the dry can see average lap speeds of around 130 miles per hour. We'll be lucky to get anywhere near that today. And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once again by Anthony Davidson. Can we talk about Toro Rosso? They've had just one retirement in the last 5 races. What do you think that says about the reliability of their car?
I think they can be fairly pleased with that record so far. The first thing any good car needs is a solid, reliable base with which to build on, and they seem to have that this season.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Nico Hülkenberg lines up on pole position, and starting alongside him P2 is Sebastian Vettel. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Hamilton, Pierre Gasly, and Faber, Perez, Verstappen, Bottas, and Mr. Monaco, Norris, Butler, Romain Grosjean, and Ricciardo, Sainz, Albon, Lance Stroll, and Antonio Giovinazzi. Raikkonen and Daniel Kvyat completes the grid, and with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
You're above where we expected on the grid. Be careful not to lose places, as there will be faster cars around you.
Oh, dearie me. I did not realise it was going to be a wet Canadian Grand Prix, which probably explained why we managed to get through into Q3 once again. The AI are probably running a little bit more downforce than myself ready for this race, though. But it is going to be a wet to dry Canadian Grand Prix. That is certainly going to make things very, very interesting over the first few laps. Strategy is going to be absolutely key here around this circuit. But we are ready, though, on the grid for the start of the Canadian Grand Prix there. It's 5 laps here in the circuit, Gilles Villeneuve there, and it is lights out and away we go there, trying to avoid the wheel spin off the start there, short shifting all the way up into 4th gear, still getting the wheel spin though, as Lando Norris slots in front of us there, instantly brakes right in front of me there. Myself and my teammate Romain Grosjean are going to be able to sneak back up the inside as we head through T1 and T2 there. You can see trying to get the power down on the exit here. The spray, I don't think I've driven in conditions this difficult on F1 at 2019. The back end of the car was all over the place as we head through turn 3 and turn 4 there, just trying to get the power down at any opportunity. Actually getting a massive, massive moment through turn 5. Almost put it in the outside wall there. That would have certainly been a costly error to make on the opening lap of this Grand Prix though. We do hold on to P10 off the start here as we head through the next couple of corners here, and instantly, you know, Bottas, Perez, the Racing Points Red Bulls, and obviously the Renault cars just instantly trying to make a bit of a breakaway from myself off the start here. And you can see it was actually probably quite useful as we head down in towards the hairpin here, because it meant the spray wasn't as bad as we head down in towards the hairpin here. You can see everyone though just going so slowly on this opening lap. No wet running at all throughout the entirety of this Grand Prix weekend up to now, so it was really going to be an interesting test here in qualifying, here in the Grand Prix even, to see who could adapt here and really just see if this Haas car was going to work out in the wet conditions there. As we head down in towards the final couple of corners though, we have appeared to have survived the opening lap of this Canadian Grand Prix, and now it's about trying to settle down and get into a rhythm here. But I could already tell, even just off that first lap, that the dry setup wasn't quite working as well as we would have liked here. We really did need to try and continue on some good momentum here, and it wouldn't be long, you can see, by the end of lap 5 there. We hadn't really lost touch entirely from the cars in front there, but making a big mistake as we head down through the chicane there, and that's going to be a nice open door for Lando Norris. They're actually running a lot of temperature in the rear tyres. They're almost running to the back of Lando down in towards the hairpin here. But yeah, struggling in the early stages to settle down into a bit of a rhythm here, just making a few mistakes here and there was really, really costing us as we head down in towards the final chicane, though, of lap 5. Potentially, no, not quite close enough to Lando Norris to really go for anything as we head down in towards the final couple of corners, though. Still holding on to P11 here, and we do need to try and stick close to Lando over these next couple of laps here, because certainly, you know, I'd like to get into a bit of a rhythm, trying to score some points here and there a little bit more in the Haas Road to Glory career. But we have scored, I think, in 3 of the 6 Grand Prix so far. Obviously, we scored back in Bahrain, then I'm pretty certain, obviously, Spain even, sorry, I should say. Spain and Monaco. And you can see by the end of lap 7, though, it would be time to dive it in for our first pit stop of the day. Though a little bit early, but the game, as you can probably tell, the track conditions were looking a lot drier here with just a few laps in. So it was clearly going to be one of those Grand Prix where the track dried out pretty quickly here, and actually getting a nice clean pit stop there just ahead of Carlos Sainz as we exit back down the pit lane here. Actually making some inroads on Lando Norris once again here as well, which is always reassuring in the pit stop windows there. And you can see trying to come back out of the pit lane here, get the car slowed down nice and tidily as we head down in towards T1 here. And I noticed it in this race though, when we pit onto a fresh set of tyres here, the AI really just, you know, we had about a half-second margin over the AI, and then obviously that would really just simmer out over a very, very quick period in this Grand Prix. You can see Norris though getting caught up behind Antonio Giovinazzi, still stuck on the wet compounded tyres as we head through the second sector of the lap here. So Norris now trying to have a look up the inside of Giovinazzi as we head down in towards the next couple of corners though. Is Giovinazzi going to make it easy for him? He can't hold it on around the outside there. But yeah, just not making it quite as easy as I'm sure Lando Norris would have wanted here. And we now need to try and get past the Alfa Romeo as well as we head down in towards the next couple of corners though, in towards the hairpin. Giovinazzi just playing it a little bit defensive at the moment there. We try to have a look around the outside. He's certainly going to make it difficult for us there. Gives us a squeeze on the exit of the corner there, and that is us now up into P13 of the Canadian Grand Prix once again here, though. We should have a few more drivers diving in to the pit lane there on the end of the lap there. It's Jeff actually in the background telling me that he has dived it in as well there, riding the curb through the final couple of corners though, and trying to get the power down as we head in towards T1 once again there. And it does look like Norris and myself still P10 and P11 there, but Norris just a little bit early on the brakes there. I wasn't actually intending to make that move. We were actually having a look up the inside just so we could spot our braking point in towards T1 there, but Norris a lot earlier on the brakes than I was expecting there, and that's going to be, we're able to slip back up into P10 of this Grand Prix here. And yeah, like I said, certainly would like just a couple of points here in this Grand Prix. It will all be about reliability, to be honest with you, at the end of the day though. On to the end though of lap 10, actually setting the fastest lap of the race there, 1 minute 18.3, so we certainly had some good pace at this stage of the day though. But like I said, really weird in this Grand Prix though, we'd have such a pace advantage over the AI, you know, within the first few laps of the pit stop window there. And over the next few laps though, Lando Norris would, although not quite this time around, he wouldn't really close at the gap as much as I would expect there. It'd actually be Bottas and Perez squabbling that would open up an opportunity here. To see at the final couple of corners of lap 13 here, Perez and Bottas would trip over each other here, so we would be able to have a look up the inside in towards T1 there of the Ferrari driver, and you can see coming down in towards the first couple of corners. So yeah, now up into P9 of this Grand Prix here, and we'd sit all over the back of Perez over these next couple of laps though, but an opportunity would just never really open up. The Williams car very, very quick around this Canadian Grand Prix circuit there. Obviously they want to try and get the best results they possibly can. Williams seem to be in a bit of a weird position at the moment here, just really just always at the lower end of the points, but never really able to fight for much more than that though. But you can see lap 18, the game was coming up. Jeff once again there saying it was ready for the dry compound tyres here, and the AI, just as the tyres really start to, you know, not operate as well, the AI are all over you and ready to capitalise here. You can see the end of lap 18, we would be getting ready to try and dive it down in towards the pit lane here. But with the DRS, the ERS, everything like that, we'd actually be going side by side with Valtteri Bottas as we head down in towards the pit lane there. Luckily, a bit of a ghosting comes to the rescue there, and Bottas does hold on to P9 at the moment there. But as we head down in towards the pit lane here, you can see a few more drivers are coming in for their stops as well here. We're just not going to quite get the car down into the right gear there, but we're still questionably an unsafe release here in the Canadian Grand Prix there. But we do actually come back out ahead of Valtteri Bottas in this Grand Prix there, and I must admit that was really cool to see from the AI here. Normally, you know, we see on the F1 games the crew have always held you up for way longer than they needed to here. But F1 2019, the Haas team, they are more than happy to release you out almost into some traffic. It was certainly a safe release. We did slot in ahead of Valtteri Bottas here. We can see coming through the next couple of corners. Need to try and hold on and build up a little bit of a margin over the Ferrari man here as we head out on towards the back straight with a Bottas. There was no chance of that here. That Ferrari car still very, very quick down the straights there and able to slot back up into P9 of the Grand Prix here. It was reassuring. No, I think this was one of the first battles we were going to have, hopefully with the Ferraris in this career mode. But yeah, really just want to try and stick with Bottas over the next few laps there. And you can see by the end of lap 26, that is exactly what we've been able to do there. No opportunity had opened up though until now as we head side by side down in towards T1 there. Bottas a little bit later on the brakes though. We swing it around the outside though. It moves to the inside for turn 2 there. And yeah, back up now into P9 of this Canadian Grand Prix there. And it was really looking like it could be a titanic battle right the way through to the end of the Grand Prix there. Would it actually be Lando Norris here? We hadn't seen him for quite a while in this Grand Prix. That would be the one making moves there. Just moves in front of you there in towards the braking zone. Not too sure what that was all about. And that forced us to lock up there. That was going to open up an opportunity for Bottas as well here. And they're both going to have the DRS there. So that's worked out beautifully for Valtteri Bottas then. Not quite as much for myself now. And just a few laps to go of the Canadian Grand Prix there. Bottas and Norris side by side almost in towards the final couple of corners here. And now just 2 laps to go here. We were all squabbling for the final few scraps of points in this Canadian Grand Prix there. Kvyat though would get out of the way as we head through the first couple of corners here. Lap traffic to deal with as well as a 3-way battle as we head in towards the penultimate lap of this Grand Prix. Hopefully Giovinazzi will help out myself and Bottas here, obviously with the little team, the team rewards, bonuses, whatever one you call it. Just that little bit of a bonus for ourselves there. And yeah, Giovinazzi unfortunately though doesn't quite get out of the way where I would have wanted there. Lets us all through. And that means Norris is going to be able to open up a little bit of a window once again here. We can see as we head down in towards the hairpin here. You can see Norris still just half a second in front of us as we head in towards the braking zone here. We're both going to have the DRS on Valtteri Bottas here, so hopefully this can try and help us out as well here. We've got all the ERS to play with as we head in towards the final lap of this Canadian Grand Prix though. It is all still to play for at the moment here. Norris though just going to be far enough ahead as we head in towards the final braking zone. They're 219 miles an hour as we head through the final corner. They're really attacking the curbs as now just 1 lap to go of the Canadian Grand Prix here. We're going to dive it up the inside of Bottas. Oh, sorry, Lando Norris even, I should say, as we head down in towards T1 there. Run really deep in towards the corner there, but we do get it slowed down, and we do now move ourselves back up into P10 of the Grand Prix here. Bottas, though, as you can see, heading through the next couple of corners, they're really going to try and make a breakaway here as we head down in towards the next chicane, though. Still trying to stick as close to him as possible here, but you can see the team starting to worry about the fuel, though. We've still got half a lap spare in the tank. Is Norris actually going to be able to have a look up the inside once again here? We're going to be side by side as we head in towards the next couple of corners there. Sebastian Vettel comes through to win the Canadian Grand Prix there and retake the lead of the Drivers' World Championship. But Norris going to go defensive in towards the hairpin here. What is going to happen? He locks up on the inside there. We try to hook it up right around the outside there. We're going to be coming down in towards the final couple of corners of this Canadian Grand Prix there. We're going to have the DRS, the overtake mode, everything like that. Norris is going to be aware of it though. Goes defensive. We move even further to the inside there. Move up the inside. Back up now into P10 of the Canadian Grand Prix there. Out of the final couple of corners. He's going to be gaining, but it's not going to be enough. And it is going to be 1 solitary point at the end of the Canadian Grand Prix there. I've almost lost my voice at the end of the day. But yeah, really happy with that result in the end.
A victory for Racing Point, and the team will certainly be celebrating tonight. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
I really feel the track layout combined with the track temperatures we saw today suited their car. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature, and the driver did a great job managing that as well. They just look so comfortable out there. It's like anything, it always looks so easy when it all just clicks.
Racing Point's performance today has shown that they can be competitive with the veterans of the sport. They're making their way out to the podium now as we speak, and the reaction from the crowd must be incredibly uplifting for them. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. With that brilliant result, Sebastian Vettel secures top spot in the Drivers' Championship. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
I mean, can it be anyone else other than Danny Capure? His performance today really set him apart from the other drivers out there. He's got to be happy with how he's done here this weekend.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Racing points move up to the top of the standings. It was also a strong Grand Prix from Haas F1 this weekend. Fantastic work from the American team to move themselves further up the table. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
What a race that was, though, at the end of the day. Sebastian Vettel takes home the race victory ahead of Charles Leclerc and Hamilton there. Renault really starting to, get the performance we were expecting from them in this championship. Gasly in 4th, Hülkenberg ahead of Weber, and Verstappen all the way down in 7th there. Really not a race that he wants to remember at the end of the day. They're ahead of Perez, Bottas, myself, and Lando Norris there, with Danny Rick, Romain Grosjean, Butler, Sainz, Albon, Raikkonen, Kvyat, Giovinazzi, and Stroll, the homeboy, the only man not to make it through to the end of the Canadian Grand Prix there at the end of the day. Heartbreak for him, I'm sure, there in that Grand Prix. You can see a 20-second gap back behind myself and Lando Norris there to Daniel Ricciardo. And as you can see, heading out of the race results there, you can see, having a look in the end, weirdly, the game went from wet to dry at the end of the Grand Prix. But it is Sebastian Vettel who retakes the lead at the top of the standings there. I think that's what them swapping for the 3rd or 4th time in 4 or 5 races. Their crazy fight between those two at the moment. I'm really looking forward to seeing how that one plays out. Charles Leclerc, though, jumps up into P6 overall. And in terms of the Constructors' Racing Point and Red Bull, once again swapping around there. We now move ahead of Mercedes into P6 of the of the Constructors' World Championship as well there. But thank you all so much for watching this video. Do get yourself subscribed as well, obviously, if you guys are new around here and you do want to watch more of the Haas Road to Glory career mode here. And I will be back hopefully Thursday for the French Grand Prix.